Questions. Have you ever noticed the loudest people often say the least manual things, and the greatest moments bring the deepest clarity? Today I want to speak to you about something very simple. Be silent, and you will get everything in life. I say silent, I don't mean sitting in a tavern or hanging robes, or disconnecting from the world. No questions. I mean a quality of mind, a state of inner stillness, a presence and shout to prove itself, without saying knows. Let me ask you, have you ever been in an argument where both people are shouting, voice listening? Nobody. Questions. And have you ever been in the presence of someone fossen saimuch, but when they speak, the whole room listens? That is the power of inner silence. Let me take you deeper. Silence is the language of the divine in the chaos of your thoughts. Questions. The voice of truth gets drowned, but in your silence, that's where the universe whispers. God does shout, existence does stream, the sun rises in silence, the trees grow in silence. Questions. You to were formed in your mother's womb, in absolute silence. So tell me, questions. Früher reuting show was to the world, reaction is noise, response is silence. When someone insults you, provokes you, blamestions. Do you react like a fire cracker, or do you respond like an ocean? Gaur Gopal Das side, the moment you react, you hand you remote control the other person. Be silent. Let the noise outside pass. Then hose your response, not from emotion, but from clarity. In silence you discover who you are. People fear silence because of hens interest no noise outside. They are forced to listen to the noise inside. Questions. But if you can sit with yourself, even for 10 minutes a day with no phone, no music, no distractions, you will meet someone powerful. You and that meeting, my friend, can hang your life. Questions. Have you ever been to a place so quiet that you thought hear your umbrellas? Maybe a forest early in the morning. Questions. Or standing alone at the berg during sunrise. And in that moment, without any words, without any noises or messing inside, you just clicked. You did not a motivational quote, a book, or a sermon. You just knef questions. That moment delep in knowing that's fat, imean fchen isai. Silence is the language of the divine. In today's world, questions, we are constantly speaking, texting, posting, commenting, defending, explaining. It's become normal to feel every second with sound TV in the background, music in our ears, podcasts in the car, questions. Arguments at dinner tables, notifications buzzing. Veve bui la life where silence almost feels uncomfortable. Questions. But let me ask you, what if veve misunderstood silence? What if silence is emptiness but presence? You see God does stream. Questions. The divine does shout. If you want to understand the higher truth, if you want answers not from the world, but from within you won't find them in the noise. You'll find them in silence. Take nature as you tiger. The sun rises every day without a sound, no announcement, no drum roll, no applause. And yet it gives warmth, it gives light questions, it sustains life. The trees grow silently shade, giving bearing fruit, offering oxygen without ever asking for credit. When a flower blooms, it does call the world to witness it simply blooms, and the world notices. In silence the divine walks, in silence life unfolds. But we've been conditioned to think that louder means better. Questions. We believe that being the loudest in the room makes the most powerful. We believe that speaking fast, talking more. Questions. Feeling a very gap with noise makes us intelligent, strong. But consider this, the deepest waters are always the psalms. Think of someone you play admire not because they talk a lot, but because of the way they are. Maybe your grandfather had greatly wisdom in his sayings. Maybe your mother didn't speak harsh words, but fosse shilen love guided you through storms. Maybe at her didn't shout questions, made the whole classroom attentive. That's not silence out of vagueness, that's silence out of depths. In daily life, questions, this matters more than you know. Imagine you in a meeting at work, everyone speaking ideas, talking over a hoser, trying to sound smart. But one person sits quietly, observes, and speaks only when necessary. The words are tactful, measured, questions, impactful. How do you remember after the meeting? Not the loudest, but the one who spoke with clarity and solve questions. That's the power of silence. Or think of an argument at home. Tempers flare, voices rise at accusations flee. But on a person who's not to escalate. They stay some listen, hold their peace, and respond not react questions. They don't lose themselves in the drama. That persists vague, that person is in control. That's divine strength. Questions, silence tiches us restraint. It tiches us to observe before acting, to listen before replying, to think before judging. In a world obsessed reaction, silence is a radical act of wisdom. Even in relationships, silence plays a crucial role. Questions, you don't always need to fix people with words. Sometimes, just being there silently, fully sense, can heal more than advice ever told. Gaur Gopal's beautifully says, "O the greatest gift you can give someone is your undivided presence." Questions, ian presence doest ni trog spech, it comes trog silence. Sadhguru says, only if you knof have to be silent, you can listen. Only if you can listen, you can knof. Only if you can knof, you can grow. Questions. It divine is always speaking, but no your phone, not through a podcast, not through social media. Questions. The divine speaks in the pause between your breaths, in the stillness between your talks, in the quiet moments when you stop running and simply be. That is where you connect with something higher. Questions that you hear your soul. That is where you find answers to questions you've been carrying for years. Questions. And when you start listening to that silence, you'll find that you don't need to have things. The right people, questions, opportunities, the right clarity, they all come to you. Becauze the divine flow stroke silence. Not against it so. Questions. Next time life gets noisy. Don't you stray for the volume dialag visin. Go for a walk alone. Sit under a tree. Vad deski close your eyes and use brace. No need to solve anything. No need to say anything. Just listen. Becauze in that silence, something beautiful happens. The mind slows down. The heart softens. The ego dissolves. Questions. And the divine finale gets a chance to speak. In whispers, in presence, and you realize in the deepest part of you, you never needed to shout for the world to notice you. You just needed to be still long enough to notice yourself. Silence is not a void, it is full of answers. And if you learn to speak its language, you will begin to receive everything. Life will always test you. People will provoke you, situations will frustrate you, and sometimes questions. Everything will feel like it's going against you. In those moments, the difference in a reaction and a response is not just about how you sides how you are becoming. You see, reaction is instinctive. It comes from the rough parts you fear, anger, ego, questions. It's like to hinka hot surface and immediately pulling your hand back. There is no talk, no space, no reflection, just impulse. Questions. On the other hand, response is intentional. It comes from a place of clarity, composure, and maturity. It's the pause between stimulus and action. That small gap is where your power lies. Questions. Think of a time when someone insulted you maybe, at a worker treff a sarcastic comment, or a friend said something that hurt. Your first instincts might have been to snap back, defend your race, your voice, or prove them wrong. But ask yourself, questions, what did that really accomplish? Sure, maybe upon the argument, but did you really win anything? Questions. Did you walk away feeling empowered? No imagine this. The same person says something rude, and instead of reacting, question te abreas, you pause, you observe. And with salmes and a composite heart, you either let it go or respond with grace. Shooting. No ego use strength in silence. What happens then? The energy of the room shifts, the power dynamics hangs. Questions. You are no longer controlled by what you are in control of yourself. That's not weakness. That is real power. Take a simple daily life example. You are driving in traffic, and someone cuts you off rudele. Most people honk jelzurse, or even hase de oser tsar au ofrage. That's reaction hits emotional and draining. But what if you just smiled? Questions. Shook your head and kept driving. What if you told yourself, "My better rushing to the hospital, my better having a bad day"? Questions. Or my better used to navare. You lose nothing by responding with speace, but you gain everything your energy, your composure. Questions. When you react, you are giving someone else the power to control your inner world. Questions. It's like handing them the remote to control your emotions. On a push off their button and you are angry, hurt, anxious, upset. When you respond, you take that renote batsk, you hose your emotion, you hose your state. That's freedom. Think of us question vise oltres, skom vins bluff. De laves mai tremble, some branches mai svai, but de tres stands firm roted. It doist reacts to a very gust. It responds adapting, bending, but not breaking. Beta tre. Most arguments between souples. Questions often salate not becauses of the problem itself, but because people react instead of respond. Questions. On a person raises ter voice, de oser raises it louder. On a trosablame, de oser trofs it batsk. And so on. Questions. It's not about solving the issue, it's about winning the fight. But what if on a person hoses to stay silent for a moment, listens, questions, and then speaks with love notego, the whole direction of the conversation hangs. There is a beautiful Sanskrit saying, Kyons Gotipakshap Havana, it means a negative emotion arises, cultivate its opposite. Is of when anger arises, bring patience, when hood arises, bring compassion. When noise arises, bring silence. This is about suppressing your feelings. No, Kyons, it's about mastering them. Reaction is acids hat filtren do. Response take strength it's had vise souls do. Questions. Think of greatest Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Buddha. They were provoked, insulted, attacked. Questions. But they did react with hate. They responded with wisdom. That's why we remember them, not because they shouted. But because they stood in silence and they silence movet nations. Gaur Gopal Das often says, questions. You control someone else's behavior, but you can always control your response. Questions. Iantis on a truth can hang your entire life. The next time you are about to send that angry text pause. The next time you are tempted to stream pause. The next time someone disrespects you pause. In that pause, you reclaim your peace. Questions. In that pause, you don't shrink your rise. Don't let someone else's house become your character. Let them noise you. Be silence. Questions. Because silence not absence. Silence is presence de a more powerful presence. When you respond from silence, questions. You don't come reaction, you come from realization. You realize you don't to prove anything. Questions. You don't need to match their energy. You don't need to win a fight that does serve your soul. You just need to hold your center. Questions. And from that center, speak only if your words will elevate the moment. O service, let your silence do the talking. Remember, the ocean reacts to every drop of rain. It holds it, absorbs it, transforms it. You can do the same. Questions, so the name life offers you a challenge, a comment, a trigger. Don't beg wits to react, pause. Listen and then respond, not from your noise, but from your silence. We live in a world where we constantly trying to be someone smarter, richer, funnier, more successful, more attractive. Questions. Where always masks on social media ad hoc, even at home, every day we play different roles. Employee, parent, friend. Questions. Leader, follower. Ansome vhere intring to become everything for everyone we forget the most important question vho ami. Reale. Tis question doest ganz feret in noise. It doest come trog applause a vehemence or opinions. The answer to vhoam I emerges only in one satsrek silencense. Vhen jo are silent not use vis your voice questions. Jo talks jo begin to pell off all the liars the world has put on you. You begin to make the rough, unfiltered version of yourself. And that meeting can be the most beautiful, the most uncomfortable experience of your life. Think of questions. When was the last time you sat alone, without your phone, without music, without strolling? Questions. Without even talking to yourself in your head. No planning, no worrying, no what's next to you, just being. Questions. Most people are afraid of that silence, not because it's empty, but because it's full. Full of talks we've been avoiding, questions. Emotions we buried dreams we gave upon, fears we never dealt with. When everything on the outside become gwiet, with the inside become loud. That's when the real conversation begins. Let me give you a simple example from daily life. Questions. Imagine you wake up on a weekend morning. There is no walk, no deadliness, no rush. You make yourself a cup of tea and sit by the window. You don't talk your phone. You don't talk to anyone. You use sheet. His giants are firping. The wind moves stroke the trees. The sun gently licks up the world for the first time in a long time. You feel connected, not to the world, but to yourself. And maybe in that moment, you remember something. Questions. A dream you had when you were younger, a passion you abandoned, a version of yourself you lost along the way. Questions that on a get moment brings you back home to yourself. That is the power of silence. When you stop running from one task to another, one conversation to another, one notification to another, when you use pause you start not teaching things. Questions. Start not teaching your breath, the way your body feels. The talks that keep repeating. Questions. You release of tiret you are of pretending. Hof much you krave peace. Hof deeply you want to be understood, not be the world. Questions. Most of us spend our lives looking for validation. We want someone to tell us where go enough. Smart enough, talent enough. But let me tell you a truth. The only person who can give you taking of validation is the one you met in silence. In silence there is no audience. No one to impress. No don competitive. There is just yours. Questions. As her strength is born, have you ever noticed how the most centered people, not the loudest honest in the room? Questions. They not trying to grab attention. They don't rush to speak. They listen more. They observe. Questions. They are comfortable in their company. That comfort does come from outside the approval. Questions. It comes from inner clarity they found in moments of stillness. Gaur Gopal Das often says, questions. The biggest mistake we make is getting sucked up in vhad we do, tve forge for we are. Doing is about the world, being is about the self. We think we used a have on a more think, buy on a more think, gain on a more follower, well feel better about ourselves. But the truth is, no external heaven can replace the internal paths of knowing for your are. Dat silence is a luxury and necessity. Take time to sit with yourself, not to analyze or use, but to simply observe. Observe your thoughts like clouds passing in the sky. What them but don't hold on. Use better questions. Like a mountain watching the water hang. Over time you'll begin to notice patterns. Questions. You'll see fich thoughts empower you and fich honest drain you. You'll hear the voice of your intuition. Questions. The one that's been driven out benoise for years. You'll discover not for your tobut for you were always meant to be. Questions. And the beautiful thing is on the yoke of who you are, your decisions become clearer. Your relationships become deeper. Questions. Your words become fewer but more meaningful. You stop hashing and start attracting. You stop comparing and start appreciating. You stop surviving and start living. Sadhguru says, po if you do not knov de nature of who you are, can you live your life with clarity? Silence is not about removing sound, it's about tuning into a figure frequency. Bez kwestii of truth, the frequency of souls. So give yourself the gift of silence, even just 10 minutes a day. Turn off the noise, questions, shit with your blose your ears, and listen. Listen not for answers, but for understanding. Becauze in that sacred silence, you won't just find peace. You'll find yourself. Confidence is loud. It does shout from rooftops. It does not applause attention or the spotlight to validate its presence. Real confidence walks into the room like a soft breeze not trying to be noticed, yet impossible to ignore. It is the get presence that says, or I know who I am, and I don't need to prove it. Questions. I've ever been conditioned to think that confidence looks like dominance, that it's about being the most vocal, the most expressive, the one who takes up the most space, but that's just a performance. That's borrowed confidence. Questions. The king trembles the moment the audience stops clapping. True confidence need no jest noise becauze I knofs. And when you knof, you don't need to tell. You simply be, look at the lion in the jungle. Questions. It does roar all day long to remind us that it is the king. It walks slowly, gracefully. It has more than it does. Questions. It does has attention. Its very presence is commanding. That's real power. That's real confidence. Nothing about your own life. Questions. How many times have you felt the pressure to speak up just to fit in? Questions says to something clever in a meeting so people will think you're smart. Questions. Post something on social media just so others will think your life is interesting. Questions. That's not confidence, that's insecurity dressed up in a costume. Let me share a story that happens in everyday life. Questions. At a meeting at work, several people are having around ideas, trying to dominate the discussion, speaking over other questions. Everyone wants to be heard. And there is one person, let's say her name is Asha, for listens patiently. She takes in everything, does trust to speak, and when she finally does, she speaks slowly, clearly, with intent, and everyone stops to listen. Not because she spoke louder, but because she spoke with presence. After the meeting, questions. Her favorite words remain in people's means, not the dozens of loud, honest spoken voices. Questions. That's what happens when confidence comes from silence, not from show. Real confidence is deeply rooted in self-awareness. Questions. When your words, you don't feel the need to constantly explain it to others. You don't get defensive when someone questions you. You don't get shaken when someone doubts you. You smile. Because opinion does hang your truth. Let's bring this even closer to home. In relationships, romantic family questions or friendship money arguments arise from a need to be polite. If we speak, we shout, we demand to be heard. But ask yourself, if you are truly confident in your love, in your understanding, do you really need to win every debate? Sometimes, the most powerful response is not to interrupt that skits silence, but to be confidence. You don't need to fake to prove you're strong. Questions. You don't need to explain every detail to be understood. You can simply stand firm in your truth and let your energy speak for you. Questions. Gaur Gopal Das side, and don't try to impress people. Express yourself honestly and to self how and to value you will see tunes. It has the sense of confidence. It's no performance. It's not about perfection. Questions. It's about being authentically you, even if that means being silent in a world that won't stop talking. Questions. Have you ever noticed how children, when they're truly happy and content, don't need to stream about it? They smile. Questions. There is a purity in that silence. No need to impress. Just being, and similarly, questions. Confident people don't need to shout their achievements from the rooftops. Their presence does the talkings. Questions. Their voice speaks louder than words. Teir consistență, teir grație, teir humilitate fhat makes tem magnetics. Questions. Sadhguru often remains ustat de most stable. Questions. Centeret individuals are not de honest making the most noise, but de honest fots are silence like a crown. Because silence dost mean you have nothing to say. It means you have hand to speak. You're not desperate to fill the space. Questions. You're comfortable in it. And that's real strength in you often life your notice. When you're confident. Questions. You won't get out in gossip. You won't need to prove you're right all the time. You won't have a validation. Questions. You won't rush into conversations just to be seen. You'll start speaking only when it's necessary. And when you do speak, people will listen. Not because your voice is louder, but because it's unheard. And when you don't speak, your silence won't be afkvat. It will be respected. It will be felt. Questions. So next time you attempt to speak, use to prove something. Pause. Ask yourself, am I speaking from insecurity? Frost strengths, your silence be your strengths. Let your psalm be your message. Let your presence be your proof. Questions. Because the most confident person in the room does not to say they already know. Questions. And knowing is louder than any words ever spoken. Questions. There is less best feeling the talk than the words that leave your mouth. And in that gap lies the power to build or break. Questions. To connect create conflicts. To bring peace or provoke war. But the sad truth is most people skip that gap altogether. Questions. They jump from emotion to expression without pausing, without filtering, without thinking. And that's where most problems begin, not in the situation itself, but in our hasty words. We live in a world of speed. Questions. Everything has to be fast, instant messages, instant opinions, but wisdom. Wisdom is never rushed. Wisdom waits. Questions. Wisdom pauses. How many times have you said something in anger, only to regret it moments later? Questions. How many times have you sent a message in frustration, only to wish you thought unsent it? How many arguments, misunderstandings, and broken relationships have started not because the issue was too big, but because someone spoke too soon, without thinking. Let's take a very common example. You retired after a long day. You walk into your home, and your spouse or family member says something innocent like, you forgot to pick up the milk. But in your tired state, you felt criticized, so you snap back to it always without questions. Can you do something for once that on a sentence spoken in the head of the moment triggers a high in reaction? Voices raise questions, emotions spiral, and soon a simple reminder becomes a full-blown argument. And hours later, when things cool down, you realize it wasn't even about the milk. It was just poor teaming and rushed words. Questions. This is how the mage de people love not with punches, but with sharp words thrown to quickly. Questions. No imagine the same situation, but this time you pause, you brace, you hear the comment, and instead of reacting questions, you respond calmly, pach dit forgek. I'll get it tomorrow. No fict, no regret. Just a moment of awareness saving your house of emotional cleanup. Questions. Speaking to son is like stepping on a landmine you planted yourself. The explosion is avoidable if only you waited. Questions. Even for a few seconds. It's not just about personal relationships. Even in professional settings. Questions. Speaking to quickly can ruin deals, damage reputations, and create unnecessary friction. Pitsturetis, a team meeting where a colleague presents an idea that you don't agree with. Your ego kicks in. You interrupt. You dismiss the idea instantly. At that nerve, the room goes silent. The person feels embarrassed. The discussion shuts down. Questions. You may have proven your point, but at what cost? But what if you had waited? What if you let them finish? Gave it some talk. Gantensions, o interesting idea. I wonder if we can adjust a path to make it even better. Questions. Enough you're not used disagreeing, you're boiling. You're not reacting, you're collaborating. Words unspoken can never be taken back, you can apologize yes. But they who of a harsh lingers longer than we think. Questions. Dat silence is weakness seed strength. The strength to hold your tongue until your mind is calm and your heart is clear. Questions. There is a powerful line in the Bhagavad Gita. A wise person is not one who speaks much, but one who speaks rightly. The art of speaking rightly comes from mastering the pause. And this pause, this small delay is everything. It gives you time to assess. Is fatigable to helpful or hurtful? Am I speaking from emotion or understanding? Questions. Am I trying to solve the problem or just vent my frustration? Even in conflicts, silence can be your greatest ally. You don't have to fill every gap with words. You don't respond to every provocation. Sometimes, letting silence carry the weight of your wisdom speaks more loudly than an argument sold. In fact, questions. The people Florence cause most spiritual leaders. Elders and mentors, they don't speak impulsively. They speak with intention. Questions. Their words are measured, meaningful, memorable. But also they think before they speak. Gaur Gopal Das shares his wisdom often. Who don't speak but also you feel like it. Speak but also it will bring value. Questions. Most of problems will disappear if we so just learn to filter terug dat on a question. Will this bring value? In everyday life, this means taking small steps. Before replying to a triggering message, draft your response but don't send it. Questions, 30 minutes. You'll probably hang the tone. Before reacting to a rude comment, ask yourself are they having a bad day? Questions. For giving your opinion, ask have you understood the full picture. This habit of pausing before speaking is not just a communication skill. It's a life skill. It's a spiritual discipline. It's emotional intelligence in action. And the only is when you speak less, people listen more. But also your words are evoked. Questions. When you pause before you speak, your words don't just pass, they penetrate. So train yourself. Train yourself to wait, to listen, to understand, to feel, and then to speak from that space of awareness, not impulse. But also at the end of the day, it's not the words that hurt us. It's the honest we speak to us on. And when you master your words, you master your world.